Are you serious? Are you serious? I'm going to thank Wayne of Canada for a tremendous job in getting this information to me. Thank you, Wayne. It is true. Wayne sent an email. He says, you remember, Pastor, as you've said, Daniel 11:44, during that Arab Spring, one of the things that slows down the Antichrist spirit, you can read this in the book of Daniel, chapter 11, 41 through 45. When you get down to verse 44, it says, "But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with a great fury to destroy and utterly to make away many." Well, Obama's strategy has been to get rid of 5 heads of state. He's been successful in 4. He got rid of Ben Ali of Tunisia, Hosni Mubarak of Egypt, Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, and Ali al-Saleh of Yemen, and was on the way to get rid of Assad when the Russians stepped in and brought trouble to him and slowed him down. But the rest of the verse says, "But he will come with a great fury." The President of the United States has just announced that he is going to he wants to send $4 to $5 billion worth of weaponry to the Syrian rebels, which are made up of the Muslim Brotherhood and other groups, to fight ISIS. President Assad of Syria sent word to Obama and said, "Hey, why don't you join with us to defeat ISIS? Since help us do it." But Obama won't do that because he actually wants Assad out, even though the Russians don't. And the Russians have slowed him down and have troubled him. Well, we have information, of course. There was a massive explosion in Syria just before President Obama, just hours before he was to give his address, the presidential address on Wednesday night. And here's what happened. Nearly 50 senior commanders of a major coalition of Islamic moderates, these were the people that Obama said he was going to give the weaponry to fight ISIS. These 50 senior commanders of a coalition of Islamic moderates opposed to ISIS in Syria have all been killed by a massive explosion at their secret command bunker as they met to discuss strategy of how to combat Islamic State. Now, the blast in the northwest region killed all of the senior members of the rebel group, and thus leaving this totally in disarray. The coalition of freedom fighters that President Obama was going to give all of this weaponry to. So this creates a major hole. Now, who did it? Well, who would have the most to gain by it? Well, that's a good question. I mean, you could say Assad would be happy because then he could go back and still say, "Look, I told you, back us. The rebels are inconsistent and now they're decapitated." It could be the Muslim Brotherhood who steps up and says, "Hey, we got rid of Tunisia's president, Egypt's president, Libya's, and Yemen's. Why don't you give it to us? We'll get the job done." Or it could be that this creates such chaos that if you do throw all this weaponry out there to these rebels, which are made up of Muslim Brotherhood and other factions, that it will just be one big chaotic mess in Syria, and it really wouldn't accomplish anybody's goal. And so my thing is, why is America even thinking about giving any weaponry to anybody? You either use it yourself, build a coalition of nations that's going to remove ISIS from the region through using the air and then ground of some sort, and not just put it all on the Americans, but use a coalition. Well, apparently Obama has built a coalition, but folks, his coalition is of 10 Arabic nations. He has 10 Arabic nations to help get rid of ISIS. I just don't see how any of this is going to work. It's a tangled web we weave, and what I see is a lot of U.S. money weaponry getting again in the hands of different rebel groups. I mean, the reason ISIS is as powerful as it is because we left millions, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of tanks, armored vehicles, rockets, rocket launchers, propelled grenades, surface-to-air missiles, night vision goggles, uniforms, supplies, all kinds of heavy equipment, Toyota Tundras. What? And ISIS is roaring around and has taken over half of Iraq and a third of Syria with U.S. weaponry. So why should the U.S. throw more weaponry into an already cesspool of violence? Folks, something is not right here. But the Bible said this would happen. I just read to you what Daniel said would happen in the Arab Spring, which Obama has orchestrated, let's be honest. But also Isaiah said that Damascus, the burden of Damascus, would no longer be a city but become a ruinous heap. And that's really what it is now. That city is in ruins. It's crumbling. It's literally, it's not even functioning right. And Assad might say he's still the president of Syria, but let's be honest. He's not the president of Syria. He's the leader of his own band, a small group that's kind of tucked away up there in Damascus in one part of the city. Don't even control the whole city. So we certainly don't control the whole nation. So we know the city of Damascus has fallen. We know that Damascus has fallen. It's a ruinous heap. The question in Syria is definitely fallen. Question is this becoming a strategic proxy war between the United States and Russia for the strategic position to have access to Israel down the road? If so, that would fit Bible prophecy to a T, as the armies against Israel would completely surround her here in these last days. Are you saved? Are you born again? Something biblical going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. Don't miss today's live broadcast from 12 noon. You don't want to miss it. It will be a powerful broadcast as we analyze ISIS and the events around the world. Give your life to Jesus Christ. He is the only hope in this world.